I know the algorithm is probably fixated on something else right now, but I'm going to be talking about something I really like. And I guess we shouldn't have left these types of videos in, like, I don't know, 2020, 2021. Anyways, this iceberg is huge and I really want to get down it. So let's get started. Tupac faked his death. This is referring to how Tupac faked his death to get out with Suge Knight and to also go out into Cuba into hiding. A lot of people have been saying, oh, Tupac's alive, he's gonna drop new music this year or something. He's just dead. Leave it alone, man. There's nothing else to it. Just let him rest. And he can't be alive because a group that was associated with Tupac, the Outlaws, actually smoked his ashes. The East Coast West Coast beef was started for record sales. This is just referring to how the beef was started just to like make more records and more music and stuff. Personally, I think this isn't very true since, the East Coast and the West Coast have always rivaled each other in music, specifically in rap. Because around the time when like A Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul was coming out, a more rougher, more like G-funk leaning sound was coming from the West Coast, and that was basically like dominating the whole rap scene. And I guess the East Coast wasn't really up for that. And there's also many other factors that come in play with the whole beef, like Tupac and Biggie's beef. But what do I know? I'm not an expert. This is referring to how some people think that Eazy-E died because Suge Knight injected AIDS into him. And fun fact, Eazy-E's son actually believes in this theory. I think this theory is quite likely because Suge Knight was known for doing a lot of shady shit, and like he did a lot of crazy stuff to kill his enemies and stuff. So I think this theory is quite likely. This is referring to how some people think that Eminem was cloned, and yeah, that's just it. Some people point to times where Eminem was being interviewed about some things he did and not remembering them correctly. So maybe this is true, or maybe Eminem's memory has been really fucked up because of his long-term drug abuse. I don't know. DMX was targeted by the industry because he refused to conform. This is referring to how DMX was targeted by the industry, and, a lot of people wanted to kill him because he didn't conform to normal rap standards. I think this is partially true, but who knows? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I just think DMX is a very good rapper, and he was very different from the people at the time, and they hated him because of that. And if you want a good example, go check out his song Damien. It's really good. Kanye killed his mother for a satanic ritual. This is basically like the Eminem killing Proof theory for like the industry, but instead of Eminem killing Proof for the Illuminati, Kanye killed his mother for Satan. I have no idea what this could be other than like some sort of joke, because I couldn't find anything about it on the internet other than a few pages and articles. A lot of people also have this theory that Kanye's mother was actually Esther Phillips in her past life, because Esther Phillips looks a little bit like Kanye's mother. I don't know, but this is weird. Lauryn Hill was blacklisted from the industry because she spoke out on racism. This could be true, actually. This is probably one of the only conspiracies on the iceberg that are actually true. But yeah, Lauryn Hill was a very prolific person in the 2000s to speak out against the industry racism, especially in the Soulquarian movement. This could be true, because I don't see a lot of people talk about Lauryn Hill in rap discussions. So yeah, give credit to Lauryn. She's an amazing rapper. She's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Drake ghostwriters. This is pretty much referring to how Drake has multiple ghostwriters. This isn't even a conspiracy, this is just true. Influence of Rastafarianism and Moore Science Temple. Okay, so the Moore Science Temple is a society that basically makes up of black people and the people that originate from the Moorish region of like Spain and the Middle East and Africa and such. Basically the Black Illuminati, according to some people. And Rastafarianism is a religious movement that emerged in Jamaica that is heavily tied to the music genre known as reggae. I guess those two religions heavily influenced hip hop. I can see like the Moorish Science Temple and like Jay-Z and people like that, but I don't see a lot of Rastafarianism influence in a bunch of other people. So I guess that's it. 3-6 Mafia Satanism. All like Memphis rap fans has probably heard of this theory before. 3-6 Mafia is associated with the devil. Coops de Kanika is like a devil worshipper. Stuff like that. It's probably not true. They're all probably playing characters, and the whole horrorcore aesthetic. They only held on to that for like 10 albums, and then they switched up. So I guess they don't really worship them anymore. They probably didn't really worship them at all. A lot of Memphis rappers and producers have talked in the past saying like, oh, the devil is like symbolism, talking about like inner city struggle, which I can kind of see. So I guess that's probably it. Big Lurch cannibalism. This is referring to how the rapper Big Lurch, which hails from Houston, Texas, ate and killed his roommate under the influence of PCP. Now, there's a lot of proof that Big Lurch's label set him up because Big Lurch's label was predominantly blood and Big Lurch was a Crip. And yeah, and no matter what anybody says, I'm sticking to the proof that Big Lurch was set up. And regardless, free Big Lurch, alright? Free Big Lurch. This is referring to how Eric B. and Rakim used the technique known as automatic writing. So I think they just like basically tapped into their third eye and started writing from like their soul. I don't know if this is true. I've never really tried automatic writing for myself, but this seems like a pretty cool theory to believe in, you know? It's pretty cool. This is referring to how Ice Cube supports Donald Trump and QAnon. This is just like a basic sellout move for all old school rappers. I've been seeing this pattern with like Snoop Dogg and shit. This isn't cool. This isn't cool. Cut this shit, Ice Cube. Other than that, he started posting QAnon related stuff to his Twitter page in 2017 or 2016. And yeah, that's all the proof we have. But he most likely believes in this shit because he's a Donald Trump supporter. Adam22 and DJ Vlad work with the FBI. This is referring to how Adam22 and DJ Vlad work with the FBI because they're always inviting like rappers that have committed crimes onto their channel. I think the most likely reason why people think this is because they might ask more about your criminal history other than other stuff. I think DJ Vlad is most likely the FBI because he asks a lot about people's crimes. Me and my homies fucking hate DJ Vlad. The Base God's Last Wish. This is referring to an entry which states Base God's Last Wish. This harkens back to God's Last Wish on the general conspiracy iceberg, and on that most people don't really know what it means. So basically God's last wish was like God created humanity and Earth as like a last wish before dying, and I guess Lil B created Based World and Cloud Rap before dying. So I guess that's it. This is very underwhelming for a last entry.